Well, in the over 11 years that I've been fortunate enough to hold public office, it's fair to say I've never seen times like these. When people are coming and visiting my office or sending me emails or contacting me through Facebook, there's a lot of anxiety, and unfortunately there's also a lot of really tough cases and stories that we're hearing about. It was just today that I heard about Momentive Performance Materials closing their operations in the riding. And unfortunately there's too many stories like this of businesses shutting down, particularly in the manufacturing sector. What's particularly concerning, individuals who come forward who've just been laid off and who've paid many times years and years into the EI system, only to find out that either they're ineligible for some reason, or that they just have to wait a ridiculous amount of time to get their claim processed. Not just weeks, but in some cases even months before their case is being processed. And for people who already are in a tenuous situation where paying the mortgage is a huge challenge, when they have this enormous deprivation of revenue on something that they expected to be there for them when times got rough, it makes it extremely difficult. So this is something that every day we're pushing very hard in the House. The EI reform is absolutely essential, not just from a perspective of compassion to help these people who paid into the system and to make sure that they're able to subside in difficult times, but also from a perspective of our economy. The reality is that people don't have that kind of social safety net to fall back onto. They don't have earning power, they can't contribute to the economy, they can't bounce back up, and it's going to only hurt our economy that much more. Another issue of economic concern, in a big way to me as our public safety national security critic, is what we heard from Secretary Napolitano in the United States about our border. And it's made very clear by Secretary Napolitano that she sees a continuing move to thicken our border. Now, I was just down in Washington because I really think the government has failed on telling our Canadian story. This idea that the Canadian border needs to be treated the same as the Mexican border, that we need to have this great wall built between our two countries, is incredibly problematic. There's so much of our trade that is spontaneous, that relies upon people making that snap decision. From our riding, as an example, to go down and watch a Buffalo Bills game, or to go shop in Buffalo, or from their perspective to come into the GTA and spend money and enjoy Toronto. So just within our own region, we can see when this requirement to have a passport comes into effect in June, that it's going to have, as Congresswoman Louise Slaughter said, a really devastating impact. So it's one of the reasons why I went down and met with so many senators and governors and congressmen and congresswomen down in Washington to try to explain our story. And it was remarkable to me how open they were to that message, but at the same time how much they hadn't heard it by this government. And that's incredibly disappointing and something that I think is a real failure. So we have a lot of work to do. As an opposition, we're going to be pushing for these reforms on EI. As a critic, I'm going to be saying we just cannot accept this thickening on our border, and that we can't just take it lying down. This is just a couple of issues, but ones that I wanted to highlight in this week of a lot of tough news.